And welcome everyone to another edition of Katz Chats. I'm Andy Katz here for the Missouri Valley Conference. Pleased to be joined by Steve Prohm from Murray State and the Racers, 3-1 as we're chatting here in the Valley. After losing six straight, things have turned the corner overall in the Valley. I think they've won 7 of 10 dating back to last season. So the Valley has been good to Murray, but it seems like statistically, Steve, everything has changed over the last couple of weeks. How so?
Well, we're just playing better. I think when your guards play well, it makes the game a lot easier. But I think really just going into Christmas, when we left after the SMU game, we played a really good team. I think those couple of days away gave everybody time to reflect, coaches, players, on what we need to do to get better. And the best thing is those guys came back from the holidays with a great mindset. They got back on the 26th. We went 2-a-days. We're still going. We're out of school, so we're still going 2-a-days. And when I say 2-a-days, now it's some mental stuff in the mornings and practice in the afternoon. But we went pretty good leading up to the Middle Tennessee game, and that game got our confidence back a lot. But I think we've really tried to buy into a slogan I heard over the holidays, Medita, Mudita, which just means celebrating each other's successes. And if you can be more happy for someone else than you are for yourself, I think it helps in building a great team. But we're starting to defend a lot better, than we did in the first half of the season. We're shooting the ball better. And then our guard play has been really good. And then the addition of Alden Applewhite, just with the two-time transfer, getting him into the fold has been a big lift for us as well.
Yeah, well, let's talk about that for a second because that was not planned. We didn't know, and you're not alone in this. I mean, this has happened across the country. That suddenly a two-time transfer for a lot of these schools is suddenly available. How did you handle that, coaching wise, managing the roster of maybe it happens, maybe it doesn't, and now you've injected a player that's literally going to contribute in a good way, but the minutes are going to change down the line.
Yeah, I think it helped us at the right time because we had a kid, Sean Walker, that went out with an MCL sprain. And so we needed another punch. The one thing about Alden, when I met with him, when we heard all the news that this may happen, was he was not a guy that we were filing a waiver for. He was a definite two-time transfer that we knew he was going to have to sit. So I think we were handling him as your typical redshirt guy, to where he has his own lifting program, he has his own individual workout program. In practice, you're playing him different ways than you would your normal roster of guys. To where I've had wing players sit out for me before, to where I'd play them on the point guard on the second team just to get them to work on ball skills and get more understanding and just develop their skill level better. And so we were doing that with Alden. And so when we met and we knew this rule change was coming into effect, I told him, hey, let's just get you ready for conference. He had several games, SMU, Little Rock, Southeastern, were games we could have played him. He just wasn't ready for that. And now I think he's ready. And we're a little beat up right now. We're limited up front to where, we're almost kind of looking the other day at Evansville. We played 5 guards to where he's got size though, and he helps us in that regards as well.
You get to the free throw line, converting there. Um, it just seems, and also more balanced. By the way, I think almost 5 double-figure scores on average. Um, you've had in your history, whether it's at Murray or Iowa State, a lot of times you've had, that go-to guy that can get you 20, 25, maybe 30. That's not necessarily the case with this group. How would you compare, coaching two different kinds of teams when you have that guy that can just go get you buckets versus it's going to be more balanced?
Well, I think that's when the word Medita comes into play. I think one of the best teams I was ever associated with here was when I was an assistant in 2010. We had 6 players. I think us in Syracuse that year were the only players to have that many guys average double figures. We had 5 or 6 guys above 10 points, but you became such a hard team to scout because there were so many options. And with the addition of Alden and Quincy, Brian, Rob, Jacoby, those guys playing so well right now as we've gotten into league play, it just makes you a tougher cover offensively. And we've been very, very efficient. I think we're number 1 in the league right now in offense. The free throw line you touched on. We're shooting the ball from the 3-point line better, which we really struggled at early in the season in the non-conference. And then we're sharing the basketball. And if our goal is kind of in a 60% assist rate, so we've got to continue to harp on that. But the guys are sharing the ball. The guys understand that, it may be the other guy's night. but the averages still come out like they are, and you can see they're all in double figures. But I just think it makes you a tougher team offensively to guard. Our biggest thing, you see a lot of switching in our league. It's just sharing the ball, constantly moving, constantly cutting, not being, just standing still. And then we've gotten better defensively over the last couple games to where we can score off our defense with some deflections and steals, and those numbers have risen as well.
In sort of taking the 30,000-foot view of this league so far this season, I mean, right now, Indiana State looks like the best team. That could
No.
change. But it also feels like, I could rattle off at least 4, maybe 5 teams that if I drop them into the NCAA tournament in March, they could win a game or two. Now, that's not going to happen. Maybe only one goes. But what's that going to be like for this race in these 8 weeks of really anyone, I think, in a top group of 4 or 5 could win it.
Yeah, I think that speaks volumes of the league. Indiana State, without question, I think they're the #1 team in our league. They've been really, really good on both ends of the floor. Josh has done a terrific job with his team this year. But I think that speaks credit so much to this league, the coaches, the players, the venues. I mean, we went to Evansville the other day. I mean, it was almost capacity, filled. It was a great environment. And that's one of the reasons we came into this league, to play road games with that kind of environment. But I think the one thing you learn, especially from my time in the Big 12, these upper, I think our league is ranked 8th or 9th overall. When you're playing these top tier leagues, it's just a day at a time. It's a day at a time. And now we're getting ready for Missouri State tomorrow night, who's, they're 1-3 in the league, but they played at Bradley and at Drake, and they hosted Northern Iowa and Evansville. So you just got to take it a day at a time. You can't get ahead of yourself. One loss can't become 2. You've got to take care of your home games and then try to be as resilient and tough as you can on the road. But I've been really impressed. Belmont had a terrific win against Drake. Obviously, Drake's really good with Tucker DeVries and the player of the year and the preseason player of the year in the league. Bradley's Bradley. We've talked about Indiana State, Missouri State. You go down the line. Evansville's having a terrific year. They've been great in the non-conference.
Well, there's no question. And Murray, I think we can safely say, after what happened, in December, that you guys are going to be a factor down the stretch. And now that you're getting healthier and deeper, Steve will be tracking, how this all plays out, and stay warm and safe out there.